Welcome to the milk bar. 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 Welcome to the milk bar.
Welcome along to episode 649 of The Milk Bar. Jason Forrest here with you as ever. And coming up on the show, we'll be chatting with Gary A. Wales and some more of the cast of the film Rage as we find out about what's going on, how they are getting on with the production and when their premiere is. On top of that, Gaz Birtles joins us from the South and formerly of the beautiful South as we find out about their gig at the Robin 2 in Bilston coming up on the 11th of December. We have a natter with Willis the Poet, aka Rick Sanders. He'll be talking about his latest work, and I believe we'll have a surprise up his sleeve for us too, almost quite literally. Zoe Turner lets us know about her latest charity work as she's off raising funds to help get hedgerows back in Britain and protect what we have as well on top of that. Plus, we'll be talking to Neil Curtis about his work as he has a brand new advent calendar that is certainly only for those with a very open mind. And Bob Lawrence shares news of his single release as well. A man whose voice you will have heard on voiceover work and on your wireless is now got his singing lungs on as well. So we'll be hearing about that. That's all coming up on the show this week. The South play the Robin 2 on the 11th of December, the last gig on their tour. Well worth going to see them. Gaz Birtles joins me now to tell me what is happening. Hello, sir.
Hello, how are you doing? You all right?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. I hope you're finding you well.
Yes, just woke up, but fine.
That's the way we like it. So this is part of the gigging life, though, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
You've been touring up and down the country. The South, for those who don't know the band as yet, are missing a treat to start off with. It is the music of the beautiful South with members of the beautiful South, just not the ones who used to stand at the front.
Well, one of them, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Alison was the last female vocalist with the beautiful South.
Yeah. And so you've got that iconic sound, and you've moved to the front of the band and are now singing, but it does limit your ability to play sax at the same time, I'm going to guess.
Yes, I'm afraid so. Yeah, when Dave Hemingway left a few years back, 4 years ago, we thought, well, we either pack in the band or find a new singer, and we were thinking about finding another singer. And I thought, hold on, I'm a singer in my own bands anyway, I'll have a go. So we auditioned me, and I got the job.
Well, and was it you who was actually leading those auditions as well?
Who? Sorry,
was it you leading?
I was in charge. Yeah, I had the casting vote. Yeah,
I think that always helps. But I mean, doing a fine job of it too, by all accounts. And with the work of the South, it's not unknown for the occasional song to come out of the work that you guys do that is an original as well, is it?
Yes. We did an album ourselves several years ago as the South, and we've over the years put in various songs. But yeah, we usually end up with probably 2 songs at least from our album, which sits alongside. You know, we're quite proud of them, and you can see people mouthing the words, so it's obviously people are buying it. And
it's penetrating your audience, and they're getting in their heads, as did all the tracks from the beautiful South back in the day, and that are now being kept alive in a live form alongside the new work that you're doing. And it is very much a sound which is born out of the quality of the musicianship. As some bands, they're just kind of thrown together. This is not the case with what you guys do, is it?
No, not at all. So when the beautiful South split up, the drummer sort of phoned around and said after 2 years he was bored. So half of the band got together. So there were 6 original members, and we just replaced the ones who weren't there. Pretty much, with the beautiful South there were 3 lead singers, but in the South there's only 2. And in the beautiful South there were 3 brass players, and in the South there's only 2. So we've actually, we've got 9 members in the band instead of 11, which is weird.
It's still a huge band, though, isn't it? And I think this, I haven't managed to get to a gig, but I've actually seen some of the guys from the Beautiful South performing at a gig I did a while back at the NAC in Brum, and that was amazing in itself. They were performing alongside 11 Creed, and I don't know whether you were one of those, to be fair, because it was a little while back. So the look on your face says no, but there was some of the brass section there then, this in itself is the musicians who will turn your hand to whatever is necessary, and it's all about the quality of the performance, and you just shine when you're on stage.
Yeah, it's as members have left over the years, I've replaced them with people I know in Leicester to make the logistics a bit easier. And yeah, I know that they're all of a great quality. And the hardest job is when Damon, the keyboard player, original keyboard player, left, Damon Butcher, because when you listen to Beautiful South songs, it's pretty much all keyboard led. Mm-hmm. And so we have the hardest job replacing the keyboards, actually. But the chap we've got now, Andy Price, is stunning. It's it's a real pleasure to. I do actually stand in awe, listen to some of the things he pulls out the bag, and wow, that's beautiful. So, yeah, right. It's great working with them.
And there have always been songs that have been about the melody and clever lyrics too. And it's I think you get that, and you need to listen to it on every layer and every level.
Yeah. Obviously, throughout the years, I thought to know all the songs. Obviously, playing brass since 1989. But actually, when it come down to reading the lyrics and singing them, I thought, how the hell does he get that line in? I've never heard those words in my life. But yeah, so I've had to sort of really concentrate on the lyric aspect, which is, like I say, it's beautiful. But also, I've had to learn to sing. I've had to learn to sing properly, because I thought I was okay. But yeah, the range of because I'm probably singing both parts, Dave Hemingway's and Paul Eaton's. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. So yeah, some songs are quite low, some songs are quite high. So yeah, I've had to learn how to sing these great lyrics.
So what can we expect as far as the set list goes on the night? Have you got support too, or are you being your own support and really treating us?
Well, we have been doing two gigs, 2 sets a night since July. But I saw the contract come through the other day, and it says we're doing 1 set and we have a support. So I think that means we've got to do a 90-minute slot, which is what we've always done. But yeah, it'll be all the big hits that everyone knows, but with some album tracks in there, which you have to be a diehard fan to know what they are. Mm-hmm. And I'd say a couple of our own tracks as well.
And there is always going to be a song that somebody knows, or even if it's an album track, that everybody knows a Beatles South song, even if they've never seen the band live. I mean, it is music which sits in at the core of the charts for. I mean, it was a good 10 years, wasn't it? It must have been.
It was 18, the actual full length of time we were together. But yeah, I suppose by the end, the hits were probably not so big or whatever. But yeah, it's 18 years worth of sort of top 40 hits. And we do find that you find people who've been dragged along by the friend or the boyfriend or the girlfriend, and then coming up to them and say, I didn't realise I knew so many songs, and that's generally the reaction.
But the band are at the forefront of releasing on CD as well, and you always got a treat with a Beautiful South CD with maybe an instrumental or something, so you could sing along at home, or there were always extra tracks, and you always got good value from the band. And again, this is what you're going to give with those 90 minutes on the night on the 11th of December.
Absolutely, yeah. No rare B-sides. I'm just thinking. I know what you mean. There were some sort of songs that never made the albums, and just you had to buy the single to get these tracks. And there's a lot of. So I'm just trying to think of some of the instrumentals we used to do. We used to do a few live instrumentals as Beautiful South. But yeah, we've not got. Good point.
Well, I have the first 3 singles in their cardboard sleeves still in my record collection at home, and they were beautifully packaged as well. It was always a nice way of doing things, and again, putting them into a cardboard sleeve, which it was like an album, was so much better than those horrible plastic cases that we used to get singles in back in the day.
Yeah. I think I've still. At the beginning, we used to, when every single came out and every album, we got copies of it. But towards the end, I think it's just. Got fed up of giving them out to the band, and we had to ask for them if we wanted them. So, I don't possess the full collection, which is a bit odd. Yeah.
Well, I've certainly got bits and pieces that I've enjoyed and dipped into over the years, and having seen the band play live at it was the V Festival in, I'm thinking,
99?
98, 99, must have been somewhere around there, must have been 99. So I'm glad you remember that better than I did, but I got sunstroke that day, so that's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. But that was a treat in itself. Seeing the South perform now at the Robin 2 in Bilston is going to be amazing. 01902 401211. That's Wolverhampton 40 12 11, or the robin.co.uk for the website to get your tickets. Get yourself along there, see the South, Gaz Birtles and the 8 mates who are out on the road. Gaz, lovely speaking to you. Thank you for joining us, and have a great time on stage.
Great, thanks a lot, mate.
Now, a name that you will know from the heady days of Beacon Radio, and you may not even know what he was doing behind the scenes, because you heard more of this man's output than you could ever possibly believe. Bob Lawrence is your man, and he is embarking on a new part of his career in the media. We heard him on air back in the day. He used to do, Beacon Shropshire Breakfast at the same time as we were doing kids stuff at one point, I think. Or at least he's certainly around at that very time. I'm getting it right, aren't I?
You are.
And he's here now to tell me more about what he's up to. So I'll shut up and let him talk, because he's got an amazing voice.
I've got a croaky voice, but I've been using it a lot, Jason. How you doing? Nice to speak to you again. Nice to see you again.
It's been about 3.5 decades since we last saw each other in real life.
I think so. A lot of water under the bridge since then, mate.
Absolutely. So what is going on then? Because you suddenly headed off into the world of music.
You know, sometimes, Jace, life just throws these curveballs. I've been having a really good time doing the morning show on a radio station called United DJs. And everything was fantastic and I loved it. It was great. And then it closed down. Mm-hmm. And it was like, oh, right, okay. Now, at this point, my career was such that I was pretty much earning my living, as I have for the last 4 decades, 3 decades, whatever it is, from voiceovers. So I would provide my voice to whoever needed a voice, and radio commercials, TV shows, whatever it may be. And the radio show. Anyway, the radio show ended, and it was one of those, oh, right, I'm at one of those crossroads. Yeah. And I really didn't know what I was going to do. And so the first thing I did was I just took 2 weeks off and literally didn't speak to anybody for 2 weeks, recharged the batteries. And during this time, a pal of mine who had also worked on United DJs came over for a cup of tea, and we sat and chatted. And in the lead up to my show each morning on Facebook, I used to put a 4-line rhyme. It was like a limerick, and it always ended with the line, and I'll be on at 9. And we talked about that, and he said something about poetry. And I said, well, I've always scribbled. I've always written down rhymes. I've got a hard drive full of them. And he said, what, really? And I said, well, not literally full of them, but yeah, I've got loads of them, And he said, well, do you never do anything with them? Oh, no, it's just one of those things I do. So we talked about that. And in the conversation, I said, one of them I've always thought would make a great record. And he said, well, why haven't you done it? And I said, because I don't play an instrument. I sing really badly. I can't write music. And he said, but I can do all those things. And of course he can. He's also a music producer. Mm-hmm. And there was that moment where there was just, I don't know, maybe a second and a half of silence as we looked at each other. But it felt like an hour of silence. And I said, are you serious? And he said, yeah. So we did, and we recorded it. And then at the end of it, he said, I'm not sure this is a great single. Let's do something else. I said, what do you mean, let's do something else? He said, well, you must have something else. And I said, I've got loads, but I don't think there's anything there that would make a good record, a good song. And he said, well, write one then. What? And it just so happened that I'm at that stage in my life when things are starting to go wrong with my body. And I think when you get to the mid-20s, you'll find this, Jace. When you get to your mid-20s, things start happening. Anyway, I got a really bad, for the first time in my life, I got sciatica. And I couldn't sleep. I was sleeping about an hour a night. And this was during the summer. And so at 4 o'clock in the morning, I was sitting in my armchair, looking into my garden, because it was summer, it was light. And suddenly this blinding flash of inspiration came through. And I was thinking about, I'm getting old now, but actually I'm still functioning. I'm still okay. And I picked up a pen and paper and started scrawling, and We Were There came out of that. And so I showed it to Dan, and he was really positive. I mean, he said, "Yeah, that'll do." Oh, great! Thanks for the positivity. And so we set about recording it, and it's a song. I think a lot of people will identify with it because I think what's happened in recent generations is that when I was a wee lad, when you got to 60 years of age, that was it. You were retired, and you became an old age pensioner, and an old age pensioner did this and did that. Certainly didn't do that and looked like this, but of course that doesn't happen anymore. Now it's just
this, change,
yeah, and you just sort of become another year older. And this song is actually about, we may be 60 or 70 or 75 years old. We may be 55 years old, but actually it doesn't matter. And there's that curious thing that happens when as you get older, you start to realize that you become invisible to people.
Yeah.
You just become, oh, there's that old fat bloke over there. No, I'm not an old fat bloke, I'm Bob. Yeah, there's that old fat bloke over there. And their eyes continue going around the room or whatever it may be. And so I just wrote this song, which is, somebody said to me, is it a protest song? Not really. It's not a protest song. It's just actually a song about saying, we're still here. We still do the things that we always did. You look at the age of Cliff Richard and Mick Jagger. Mick Jagger's probably a better example.
Yeah.
You look at the age of Mick Jagger and you think, I mean, obviously I don't know him, but my image, my perception of him is he probably hasn't really changed his lifestyle in the last 20 decades. He's still doing, I mean, probably not doing what he did when he was 20, but he's probably still doing what he did when he was 40.
Yeah.
And he looks fantastic. And he's still, they're still functioning in the way they used to. And that's what this song's about. But I didn't want it to be a kind of, a Bob Dylan, hey, we're still functioning, man. And, please don't be horrible to us. So there's a bit of humor in there as well, a bit of tongue in cheek. I mean, and there's references to, world events that we lived through and musical events that we lived through. We were there when Bowie met Bolan. We were there singing Wigwam Bam. And of course, the mention of Black Country favourite Slade. As I crank up the volume on Slade. And so there are references in there.
And you've got Dave Hill still out there doing it as well. So that's, it all ties in. But,
do you know, this is a true story. I've told everyone this, so I've probably told you this as well. When I lived in New Hampton Road West in Whitmarines, although I told everyone it was Tettenhall, when I lived in New Hampton Road West, Dave Hill used to park his car outside my house every Thursday night. That Yob 2, was it? Or Yob 1, whatever his number plate was. So, I could have got him on it, but no. Although, I mean, there's an amazing guitarist on it who was in Shawaddy Waddy for 14 years. And he now plays with Wishbone Ash. And he did some amazing guitar on it. But yeah, it's basically a bit of fun, but with a message.
But do we actually hear your voice on here, though? It's really you and everything.
It's really me and everything. It's me. It's me singing, which took a while. I've got to say, Dan deserves a Blue Peter badge for doing that. There's me singing, which I never, ever thought would happen in a million years. But there's me singing and there's me talking in it as well. And it's a bit of fun, but I hope it will resonate with an older clientele. Mm-hmm. But I think younger people, I'm just hoping it might not change their view, because a song's never going to do that on its own, but just make them think a little bit. Actually, you know, yeah, you are still a human being and you still have got a little glint in your eye. And, you know, because undoubtedly they think that, you know, you get to, I don't know, let's say nominally, you get to 60 and then you lose all your sense of humor, and you know, it's madness. But so that's the idea behind it, and you know, whether it works or not is down to the people who listen to it. But I think it does.
Well, we're going to do exactly that in a moment or two's time. But how does this work as far as socials and promotions go? Because I should think there must be an amazing advert with you doing a voiceover on it. Hopefully, please tell me that.
There was one a few weeks ago in the lead up to it. See, this is all new to me. Social media, and I know social media has been around for ages, and I've been on social media for ages, but I've never really understood how you use it. And so in the lead up to the release of the single, we had specially made little videos, you know, in the build up, and one of them had my voice on it. But you know, there's only so much I can do with my voice. And,
it's not true. You pop up all over the place. I love it when I say, "There's Bob," and I know him. Well, I knew him 35 years ago anyway.
Yeah, I've got to be truthful and say that I've had a good innings, and you know, I if I were religious, I would thank the Lord every day for, you know, a good career. Basically out of my voice, and
well, long may that continue. Long may we hear more from you in the musical front too. I think it's a bit of a treat. So we're looking for, actually, if you look at Bob Lawrence, we were there, and on all the platforms, Spotify, and is it a real CD too?
It's not a real CD. It's a digital download. In all honesty, let's see what happens. I mean, you know, it's I'm funding all of this myself. There's not a big record company behind me on this. So let's just see how the digital goes. I'm not ruling it out, but
we want things for you to sign. This is what it is. We need product. So we should work on that one. Meanwhile, it's always a pleasure speaking to you. It always was over the years. You're such a talent.
Thank you.
You know, I can say that because I've seen you at work. It's amazing. Bob Lawrence, thank you for joining us.
Jason, thank you very much.
Trust me, they just won't understand. The granddad and grandma are busy. don't seem to matter at all. Just because we get free prescriptions don't mean that we know nothing at all. So next time they make you feel useless, and it's applicable to women and men, just summon up your best Roger Daltrey and shout, "We won't get fooled again! We were there when the future was shiny. We were there when they walked on the moon. We were there when Bowie met Bolan. We were there singing Metal Guru. We were there when the future was shiny. We were there when they walked on the moon. We were there when Bowie met Bolan. We were there singing Metal Guru. Is it you? We were there when Jimmy played Woodstock. We were there when they left Vietnam. We were there when Arsenal won titles. We were there singing Wig Wham Bam. We were there when Corrie had Elsie. We were there when we had Susan George. We were there when Ford had the Escort. We were there singing My Sweet Lord. We were there. We were there. We were there.
We've spoken to Gary A. Wales in the past about the movie Rage. We are now joined by Gary and another three of the team behind the project. We have Barry Smith, we have Michaela Sweeney and Paul Lapsley. Good afternoon to you all.
Good afternoon.
Hi there.
So first of all, Gary, tell us a bit about Rage and the point we're at, because I know we're not too far away from that premiere now.
Right, exactly. So Rage we've been working on for quite a while. Myself and David, who unfortunately couldn't make it today, we've been working on it for quite a while, and we have came across these wonderful people and in the line of creating it also. Rage is about a young man who takes a spin with drugs and alcohol. He gets a little bit violent. Well, I'm not going to say a little bit, but he gets quite violent towards his family, and things take a really strong twist. We made this project to, of course, raise awareness of domestic violence, drug abuse, and what that can actually do to families. We do have a few of the cast here. We've got Michaela, who played the babysitter, who actually observes me handling some drugs in the household with my wife and child. We've got Paul Lapsley, who was Ryan, i.e. the bar security guard, who violently took me out. And we've got Barry, who played one of the police officers. So, yeah.
So quite a cast and say quite a story as well. And when you're looking at anything like domestic violence and there's this sort of thing happening within a family, obviously it is something which will unfortunately touch a nerve with a lot of people. But hopefully by talking about this sort of thing and highlighting what is going on in reality through the world of the arts, we can hopefully get somebody to be able to stand up and talk. And I think that's a good, important message that comes off the back of anything like this.
Yeah, definitely. I think, like, obviously what we're portraying, we're portraying like we're not hiding anything. We want to come out pretty strong, pretty harsh. We didn't want to hide anything. I have seen quite a lot of it, and it is quite graphic, which is good. You know, people need to see that. I think the world that we live in with like Hollywood and everything, that's something that I'm not interested in. I'm all about being independent and doing our own thing and showing people what it's actually like behind closed doors. You know, like we don't need to sugarcoat it. You know, so we're being as real as possible. in this, and I think we've nailed it pretty well. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk to the team then. First of all, Michaela, tell us a bit about your role as the babysitter.
My role as a babysitter, I play Courtney's friend, who's Alex's girlfriend, and they come home from a date, and I've been looking after their wee boy Colton, and I know that he's upstairs, getting ready for bed, and when they can come in, I know that there's been a serious situation. I can sense the atmosphere. I hear shouting when they come in the door, and I ask her if she's okay before leaving, and I just get this very bad feeling. I actually see the character Alex take some drugs before I leave, and then that makes my character phone the police.
And what was it like coming to a film like this? Because when you'd read the script, you knew that it was going to be quite a harrowing tale.
Yeah, absolutely. It was quite intense watching it as well, because all the cast remained on set, even during the kind of private scenes. Because again, in front of me, I was only witness to arguing. I didn't see any violence as a character, but on set, it's quite intense, definitely a serious topic that we spoke a lot about.
And so, Barry, tell us a bit about your character and his interaction with the story.
Being the police officer, it was, it's quite powerful when you're coming into the room. You're finding, what's happened there. You're arresting them. You're taking them into, like the police cells. It's quite powerful. It's quite lifelike. The film's quite, like Gary said, it's quite to the bone how I would imagine life situations, which is good,
But a difficult story to tell, and one where, I mean, you're playing a part on the right side of the story. But even so, just seeing what the other actors are putting themselves through to get this to come across so realistically, that must have been quite traumatic.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, especially when we did the police scenes. Well, I was involved in it. It's very, it's quite lifelike. It's good to portray and get it as close to the bone as possible, which is good. Very, very powerful scenes, I should say.
And Paul, you play a major role in changing the direction of the story.
Yeah, well, my character is Ryan, who for the bar scene was to throw the character out and to make it look as as gritty as possible. Door stewards don't usually throw people out this certain way, because I used to be a door steward myself many moons ago. But I was also the fight coordinator for the whole thing as well, so I did all the arranging for even the police scenes where they had to put them in a restraint and put them into the cell, and that was good as well.
Yeah, and Gary, obviously, in the work that you've done bringing this story to life, and working alongside the rest of the team, getting the casting right, it must have been a good one. I mean, Paul's got experience of a real life role, but fortunately for him, not one that had required him to carry out the task that the film requested him to.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that was one of the things that I wanted to kind of look for, like people having that kind of experience. In their past lives and stuff like that. I know Paul for quite a long time now, so I know exactly what he's capable of. I know what he can do, which is great to know. So it really helped the film massively. And yeah, I appreciated him. And we did actually. True fact, we actually had a few moments on set where we took a wee McDonald's ride and we got into some vehicle actions.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so we got into a little car crash, not because of Paul, because of the other tool. I'll call him a tool. But yeah, I mean, he kept us chill, and he's just been absolutely amazing. He's worked really well with us, and he knew everything, which was great. So like we didn't have to outsource and look for these other people because he was there to he kind of knew it. Like he knew about harnesses and knew about different if there wasn't something in front of him, he would think of something and he would go get it and he would come back in.
And find the way to make it work, to make a fight scene work and the action work there. So Michaela, I mean, I haven't seen the whole finished product yet, I'm going to guess.
No.
Not as yet, but are you excited by this?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's always a good build up, and it's nice to see the finished product. You know, it's hard to imagine all the wee individual scenes coming together, and hearing the whole story in one. So yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing it soon. Yeah.
And then, I mean, looking to Barry, I mean, for you, again, you get to wear the uniform in this one and be a figure of authority. So is that something that, again, that you've enjoyed doing and looking forward to seeing the final piece on?
Oh, definitely. It's exciting, you know, especially to see the finished article. I've only seen glimpses of it, and it looks great. So to see the full article I'm definitely looking forward to it.
And Paul, only standout moments for you, I suppose, are actually throwing Gary out of a bar.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and helping Barry and the others do the restraint as well. And no, it was good. It was good. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to the whole thing put together. Yeah.
Well, we're not too far away from seeing that. Gary, give us all the details on what we have so far as the premiere goes and what happens next.
So basically right now we are currently in post-production still. I have went through maybe 2 drafts now, so I have seen final pieces, and you look amazing, by the way, just saying. So it does look good, and I'm really looking forward to showing all the team to hear their thoughts on ways that we can maybe improve it or just get some feedback like on the spot, you know, so that'll be good. We do have a premiere coming up, which is January 24th, and that is going to be at the Hippodrome Theatre in Bowness. That starts at 7 p.m. Tickets are on sale right now. Tickets are selling very fast, which is amazing. And we do have some hopefully important people involved that's going to be coming along and guesting at the event also. All the proceeds from Rage, including merchandising, ticket, and the premiere night, will be donated to Victim Support Scotland to help others in need.
Doing some absolutely excellent work off the back of it, telling a serious story and making sure that message comes across in the right way and through a piece of drama which is gritty but realistic, and one which will hopefully make it possible for people to step forward and be able to get themselves out of a similar sort of situation. For now, thank you all for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Rick Sanders, aka Willis the Poet, is a gentleman who has got some fantastic work out there. He's got a brand new book, a lot of it's secret. He will tell us more as we explain what's going on as he joins me now. Hello, sir.
Hello, Jason. How you doing?
I'm good. I trust we find you well and the loving life at the moment.
Yeah, I'm not too bad. I went to London last weekend, and my daughter gave me a shocking cold, as they do. So I might be coughing into my sleeve at some point during this conversation. But I've got a glass of water, which is very professional of me.
As long as you follow all guidelines, we'll be okay. So the top secret poetry notebook.
Yes.
What on earth's going on here?
So I've been doing poetry for a while now, and I was very grateful to the lovely people, which is just one person actually, Stuart Bartholomew at Verve Poetry Press, for publishing a little collection of my works. I'm going to show you a picture, which is great for the radio listeners because they can't see it, but you can. And it's really a collection of comic verse and nonsense, which is kind of what I do really. Grown up over sort of 4 or 5 years, as I say, performance poetry, and I've known Stuart for a while and been involved with the Verve Poetry Press and the Verve Poetry Festival, which is a Birmingham-based poetry festival. It's just fantastic.
Well, you've done slams in Dudley and beyond, and all sorts of other stuff too. And with Willis the Poet, is this a persona, a character, or just an extension of you when you want to be anonymous?
Oh, it's a little bit of everything, really.
Yeah.
Just to start with, it was a way of getting me in front of an open mic night microphone without feeling too nervous. So I adopted this character so that I could step out of myself, I suppose, to perform. And that just really helped me with the nerves when I very first started. Mm-hmm. And then once I created this character, I couldn't go back then. So that was that. It's my own fault, really.
But does he have a kind of different look to you? Is it almost you are donning the outfit that is Willis?
Yeah, sometimes. I'm known for my cardigan collection, which Willis always wears a nice cardi when he's out and about. But then again, I wear them every day anyway, so it's like, well, it's actually really me.
It's winter; it is allowed. That is expected at this time of year. But Willis would wear one in the height of summer.
He would, yeah. He's got a range of knitwear, range of knitwear that he can apply to any season. Jason, that's the way it goes.
And another creative stream for you? Are you knitting your own cardis these days?
No. I don't think I'll go down that road.
There could be a merchandising range to be had there.
Yeah, there could be. Yeah, I'll get some with Willis the Poet on the back and try and flog them.
Well, do the job. So give us a little bit more on the sort of poetry we're looking at here. And in fact, you can share a poem. You have a book in front of you if you wish to perform.
I will. Yeah, so as I said, it's nonsense poetry, really. I started with this kind of gimmick of having lots of little books that I pull out of different pockets when I'm reading, and I did that primarily because my memory is absolutely appalling. So I tried to remember a poem on stage once, and I just crashed and burned. So I started to do just this gimmick thing with lots of books, and then that really took off, which is why that's the Top Secret notebook, because people know me for having lots of different notebooks. Okay, I'll do you a quick one. Or pick a subject. You've got food, transport, sport, love, or beasts, or cautionary tales and nonsense. I'll let you decide.
The latter, clearly.
Cautionary tales and nonsense. Okay. So this is called Henry VIII. So it was. It's not actually called that. Actually, it's called on the 11th of June, 1509. Because I'm nothing if topical and not up to date, Jason.
That's good.
But it's about Henry VIII. So on the 11th of June, 1509, Henry VIII married Catherine of Aragon, the paragon of Spanish virtue. The school day rhyme, divorced, beheaded, died, divorced, beheaded, survived, could have been so much more succinct if they just got on. Yeah, there you go. That's that.
I like that. Is that appeals to me when it comes to poetry. That is I'm not necessarily always the lovey-dovey from a greeting card type of poet appreciator. I enjoy something as good fun as that. I mean, you must have influences, and I'm kind of hoping Spike Milligan might well be up there based on that.
Oh yeah, big style. Spike Milligan. There's loads of poets. John Hagley's probably my favourite, but I grew up in the sort of 80s in the Thatcher years, when we used to have proper satirical poets that would really cut into the government. And I remember seeing John Hagley once on it's just some sort of Friday night late show thing, and I'd never seen a stand-up do poetry in the way that he did, and I followed him ever since, really. But there's a lot of comic poets that are out on the scene that I really enjoy their work.
Because you got Porky the Poet as well, who goes by another name too.
Oh yeah. Phil Jupiter's, yeah. Again, I haven't heard him read poetry for ages. And then I also realised that the DJ who was also Lister, I can't remember his name.
Craig Charles.
Craig Charles, yeah, fantastic. He used to do poetry. He started off as a poet.
But you think the Scouse accent suits poetry, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, there's some great Scouse poets around. A good friend of mine, Sean Thompson. He's not a funny poet by any means, but he's an artist and a creator. But he's from Liverpool and he does some fantastic poetry. But just having an accent makes you stand out. At different. I go to a lot of open mic nights, and anybody that stands out is slightly different. Really catches your ear. And it's fantastic to hear some different accents, lots of dialogue, or dialect rather than dialogue. I mean, dialogue, you can say that as well.
But part of the dialect, isn't it?
Yeah.
One without the other wouldn't work.
Poetry without dialogue. Although I did do a poem without dialogue, which is an interesting. Do you want to? I'm developing a style, Jason, of performing poetry on the kazoo.
Okay, I'm liking that idea. That is fantastic.
There's no words. It's just what you might loosely call music, but it's not really. I give it a go. Are you familiar with the limerick format?
Yes. A short stanza. Yeah.
I just tune it up. Yeah, that's all working. Can you hear that?
I'm going to be getting that. It's fantastic.
So this is a yeah. I've got a range of these, but this is your limerick one. You'll like this. Oh,
and that is a quality bit of rhyming there as well. I mean, the way you did the with the as well, that was just spot on.
It's brought a little tear to my eye. Actually, it's very moving. That
I just thought you spilt your water, but there we go. So whether you're channeling the clangers who would have done that on Swanee Whistle, or whether you're performing some amazing work with actual words in, it sounds like your retreat, whatever stage you happen to be on. What else is going on? Because you've got slams and the like. We can get the book. The book will make a fantastic festive gift. So give us all the details on what we do and where we find you.
Yeah, so the book, you can either, well, actually, you can get it through vervepoetrypress.com. Just go onto their website. There's some fantastic poets published on there. Just, search for Willis the Poet or Rick Sanders. It'll come up on both. And you can buy the book through there. That's the easiest way to get it, really, unless you know me personally, and you can contact me personally, and I can send you one in the post and scribble my name in it as well if you want.
Try stalking him, look for him on Facebook, see how you get on. It could prove interesting.
Yeah.
Well, Rick Sanders, aka Willis the Poet, thank you for joining us.
You're very welcome. Thanks very much.
Zoe Turner has been up to all sorts of things raising funds for charity. She did, I think, 7 peaks, and even though she had no idea where she was going, she is back with more. Fingers crossed she got a better idea of where she is this time, and joins me now on the line. Hello.
All right.
How are you doing?
Good. I like your little monkey.
Oh, right. Yes, that's... I think he's got a name, but there we go. Right, back to the plot. Charity things, what's going on?
Yeah, so I did the Shropshire 7 Peaks, so that was for Mental Health UK.
Mm-hmm.
That went really well, really enjoyed it, lovely day. And now I've moved on to raising funds for CPRE Shropshire, because I do volunteer work for them anyway. And it's a charity really that I don't think gets the recognition or funding that it deserves.
But tell us a bit about what they do then.
Well, CPRE Shropshire is the local branch of the national CPRE, and that's the campaign to protect rural England. So they it's more than just looking after the countryside and open spaces. They're actually campaign to get new laws brought in to protect things. They're campaigning with MPs and politicians to change planning laws. So there is a lot that they do behind the scenes that people probably don't realise. But it is all about making the world a better place, I suppose, and it's helping with climate change.
And not eroding what we already have.
Yeah, protecting what we have for future generations. That's what it's all about, really. And CPRE is the local branch of that. And what they've got running at the minute is a hedgerow project. So it's a project that CPRE National are backing. So it is funded a lot by them. But it's to highlight the importance of hedgerows, both in your own back garden and out in the middle of nowhere in the countryside, and what benefits it does for climate change, for wildlife, and why we need to protect it. So they're running a whole project it started in September and it's going through to April next year, and hopefully beyond that as well, just to educate people about the importance to protect the hedges as well that we've already got, to replant new hedgerows. They've got hedgerow planting workshops and days planned. All the talks are free. They're all online as well, so you haven't got to go anywhere. And as I say, they go through various subjects such as foraging in hedgerows, what wildlife you can find in hedgerows, how to protect hedgerows, and just anything to do with hedgerows is basically.
A lot of hedgerow related stuff. And how does this time with the fundraising that you're doing then, and what are you doing? Is it?
Well, the fundraising that I'm doing is a 10k run as part of Telford Athletic are doing it on the 12th of December. So I've sort of signed up to do that and then started fundraising off the back of it as well. So, anybody who wants to donate, I'm going to get it in early because sometimes I forget to hand it out. So Just Giving page is justgiving.com/Zoe-Turner 18, and you can give funds on there. And if you want to find more out about the Hedgerows project and everything that's happening locally, that is on CPRE Shropshire's website, and that is cpreshropshire.org.uk. The hedge planting dates run from the 4th of December all the way through to February the 26th at the minute, but there will be others added on there. And obviously you get full training on how to do it. There'll be like an expert there to show you.
So you're doing the run and you'll be planting some hedgerows too?
I will do, yeah.
That's
it looks a lot of fun. We've had a few already, and there's pictures up on our website as well.
Mm-hmm. And when you take it on a challenge like this, I mean, you do like your running, don't you? So this is going to be good.
Yeah, and I have got another one for April next year as well that I can.
Well, we will talk about that then too. But as long as you're keeping busy, that's what we like. And what with the work that's been done here? I mean, how did you discover this charity?
Oh gosh, Jason, that's opening a can of worms. That is
really okay. You saw some hedgerows and thought I can do better.
No, I've been volunteering for them for about 12 to 18 months. So I sort of look after their social media side of things, which, as you know, I'm interested in anyway. But they helped. I'm in a campaign group in Shifnal called Shifnal Matters.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of development being proposed for us that will virtually double the size of the town. So we've formed a group. We're objecting to that, and that's still in the process of being objected to. And CPRE Shropshire have really helped us look at what we should be looking at and pointing us in the direction of what sort of things we need to be objecting to. They've been really, really, helpful. And if we had to pay for that advice, it would be, a lot of money. It would be priceless. So that's how I got into knowing who they were. And then I've seen an advert for volunteers, and I wanted to join them and give something back, because I can see the work that they do is, not a lot of people know what they do, and they can help so many more people as well, and obviously look after our countryside for future generations, which is the most important part of it as well.
Mm-hmm. And if we start to lose this sort of environment, the hedgerows are so important for the wildlife, to the point at which obviously before we cultivated the land, they got plenty of places like hedgerows to run around in. The hedgerows became their new home when we started growing crops in the middle of it. And if we lose any more hedgerows, because now obviously fields are bigger because they're putting machines in rather than tending them with horses and cattle and the like. So it is a very, very different world, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they want to increase hedgerows by 40% by the year 2050. And they're also campaigning to get it put into the new planning paper as well, that if you want to develop somewhere, you have to look at the hedgerows and preserving it as much as you can, purely for that basis.
That sounds like brilliant work to be done. Give us all those details again of your Just Giving page where people can sponsor you for your run.
Yeah, it's justgiving.com/Zoe-Turner 18, and the CPRE webpage for the dates of what they've got coming up is CPRE-Shropshire.org.uk, and there's all the hedgerowing things on there. As I say, there's free talks, there's days to plant things if you want to get out and about, get your wellies on.
That's what I was doing. Zoe Turner, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Neil Curtis is back with another advent calendar for 2021. After the success of last year, he joins me now on the line.
Hello.
Good to talk to you from Vienna. It's almost like the Eurovision Song Contest. However, your work is somewhat different to the artistic experiences we get there. Your main project is Replace Clothes with Paint, where you take male models who are dressed in a role for their job, as it were, and then you strip that back and leave just them covered in paint as the final part of that artistic sort of installation. This in itself has some challenging moves into it, and is for the open-minded, but it is certainly not about anything other than the revealing of the human form and the way in which we use that in our day-to-day lives, yet we cover it with clothes.
Yes, that's true. Wow, that was very long introduction. Yeah, I'm working on the project Replace Clothes with Paint since a very long time. And on my website, neilcurtis.com, you can see how the whole project progressed. And I'm now on video number 79, which is called The Torero. And I will publish a new video after my new advent calendar starts. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned the advent calendar. I make two different advent calendars. They're the advent calendar on paper, but I don't do this every year. But last year I started to do an advent calendar on my website. So I released a video each day. And so you can go to my website, and each day I will have a new video. And it's actually a progress of a session I did some time ago. And also there's some kind of competition. I'm tweeting all the videos on my Instagram account, on my Twitter account. And the people who retweet the most will actually win something. And Jason, do you want to see what they can win?
Well, yeah, you tell us what. Yeah, let's see what you can win.
I have it here, and I put a post-it over the So
you made it safe for work, which is what counts. Yep.
Do you think I should remove the post-it?
No, let's not move the post-it for now. No, let's get the general idea on the fridge. If you want to see this, you can actually, it's available in a book. But your work is always something which is challenging. And as I say, the open-mindedness isn't necessarily about what is happening. It's just making sure that you don't have a problem with the human form. And the human form, we all have a human body, and it all has bits that we don't show and bits that we do. But you've got no holds barred view of the people that you're working with, and this is how your models approach the work that you're doing with them.
Yeah, well, I started doing body painting when I was very young. And I painted my arms, and then I painted my body. And I thought that body painting is something very liberating, and it's something where you use the body, and you should use the body without any restriction. You know, you shouldn't be scared of your body, and you should also not be scared of being naked, because it always depends on which environment you're in, you know. But if you're in the context of an art environment, why shouldn't you be naked? But the question is always, when I work with someone, and I worked with lots of people, you know, and some people are very open-minded and others are not, you know. It is always the question, how far should we go? Because I like to be very open, you know. But of course, if I work with someone who's very he did it for the first time painting session, and he's a bit shy about what neighbors could say, or I don't know. So I'm usually very tactful and very sensible, and of course, always in every session I'm very aware of not to expose someone too much. But then on the other side, it's actually the fun of it, you know. The more you expose, the more you use the body just like it is, you know, without any fear or any guilt, the better it actually is. And I have that dream or that vision of being totally open in a painting session. Mm-hmm. And that's also why I choose this picture you've just seen before, you know, because it's a very intimate shot, but it's also part of the body, and it was also included in the session. Yeah.
So what you're doing is you're using the human body as a canvas, and the artworks that you display also use the positions and poses and there's the surroundings sometimes to explore more what could be happening in the picture. But I mean, we've seen your work in the past, and we painted male form reclined across a tree in a forest, and there's different depths and different layers and different layers of paint and the way in which you've made these images come to life. And although your work is photographic the way we see it, it's actually a real life painting that you're taking a photo of.
Yeah, it's a living art, as I would say. And I actually like the idea of living art, because it's there is some kind of response. The person is breathing, the person is talking to me, the person is having a drink with me, maybe during the session, or smoking a cigarette break. And it's always very, very cool to see how the model, totally painted, interacts with me or interacts with other people, because that also sometimes happens. That we do painting sessions outside, and then people come and they look at us and they're a bit shy at first, but then when they come to the model and see him, they are very interested. Mm-hmm. And I like this message. I think it's very important to especially in these times, this is our body. We are on this human planet, Earth, and we set the rules of how we deal with our body. We can be really stiff and we can be scared of everything, or we can be open-minded. We can enjoy it. We can embrace the body. Mm-hmm. And if this is also linked to art, then I think this is wonderful.
Well, the Advent calendar itself will begin on the 1st of December, and it will give you the chance to explore an installation over the 24 days and see how that living artwork comes to life. And as we said, this is for the open-minded. It is not in any way anything sexual. It is very much just a study on the human form, but all of that human form. There isn't anything that you won't see.
Yes. I choose this session because for me, the Advent calendar, I call it, is a very special thing, because I like how people are curious about what will come next. And in the last session, I actually painted a model black and then overpainted him with white. And by the way, you asked me what I was wearing. I was wearing this here. This is an apron. Yeah, mm-hmm. And I like it because it's actually from the 1500th century. This is where what people wore in Bath, and so it's quite a traditional linen cloth or something like that. But that was what I was wearing in the last Advent calendar last year. But this year I wanted to do something different, and instead of black and white, I decided to make a session in colors. Mm-hmm. So the model is going to be covered in 3 layers of paint. I'm not going to tell you which colors. And also the session was a very open-minded session. So the model was very, I talked to him and I said, we can go further. I can expose you in some kind of ways. I want to use you as a surface. I want to use you like an object. And he said, yes, go ahead. I will tell you if it goes too far. And he didn't tell me that it went too far. And some of the scenes are very provocative, to be honest. And I hope that the people who will follow my Advent calendar on neilcurtis.com will also like it, because it's very unusual. And I always ask myself, in which direction should I go as an artist? And for me personally, I like, to me, it's very important that I'm a serious artist. And what I do, I'm aware of the erotic side of it, but I also don't want to be too erotic or sexual or cheap, But the question is, how can I push the boundaries? How can I go further, and how far should I actually go?
Give us the website details.
The website is called neilcurtis.com, like my name. So www.neilcurtis.com. And all the videos will be released there, and I will also feature them on Twitter. You can find all the links on my website. And by the way, I just wanted to tell you something else. Do you realize that I'm not wearing my Neil Curtis clothes?
I was about to get to this, because you're dressed very much as a racing driver today.
Yes, I'm not a racing driver. I wish I was. But I got this racing driver suit by accident. And, all my replaced clothes paint sessions, they have one topic. And the last one was Torero, for example. And I want to do another one with a race driver. So please, I'm searching for a race driver who wants to participate in the replaced clothes paint session in this clothes. Yeah, they're fantastic. I feel very comfortable in it, actually. So if you have any viewers who would like to participate, write me an email.
Okay, you can do that via the links on the website, neilcurtis.com. Well, Neil, always good to speak to you. Have a good time with your Advent calendar for 2021, and we'll talk again in the new year.
Thank you very much, and I also wish you a Happy New Year once it's there. And hopefully not with Corona.
Fingers crossed. Ta-ra for now. Well, that's all for this week. Thank you so much for joining me. Back with episode 650 next week. That's a treat. I like a good round number. I'll see you then. Ta-ra for now.
Goodbye from the milk bar. 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 Yeah. Goodbye from the milk bar. Yeah.